One of my favorite things to do as a dad is to cut my son's hair. My parents always used to cut my hair. I like to do it for my son. I like figuring out how to texturize it and getting it just right. However, my wife, that's Lucy, hi babe,
Hello.
likes to bring him to the salon or to the barber to get it cut. What do we do? It's literally one of my favorites when I think of fatherhood things and think of having a son. It looks so good when I cut his hair. I shave up the sides. It looks good. It saves us $30. He's awesome. He doesn't love it. I love it. What's up, Luce?
Okay.
How are you today?
So the first thing I'm good. The first thing I think of when you start talking is you need a haircut.
I do need a haircut. Mine's getting a little long.
Your
Yeah.
hair is in shambles right now.
Let me put a hat on.
Second of all, yes, our son cries and complains. He hates when you do his hair, yet when I take him to the salon, he doesn't utter an ounce. He's happy. He's excited to get a lollipop. Thirdly, while day 1 and 2 are decent post-haircut days when you cut them.
They look real good.
They look real good. And
Thank
then day 3 and day 4 and day 20 and day 50 happen. And our kid looks like a scraggly monster.
No way.
With uneven sides and uneven tops. And I just like my clean cut, little shaven.
I'm not trying to cut our daughter's hair, although we could. It's an easy haircut.
No, we can't.
I'm not trying to cut your hair.
No.
I'm not trying to cut our other daughter's hair. I'm not trying to cut our dog's hair. But my son's hair, I've gotten thousands of haircuts over the years. I've also gone to get plenty of haircuts, and they don't do a good job. I could have done it better myself. I've got this down. Trust me. The only problem is my son doesn't love it.
So it's more sentimental and selfish.
It's sentimental.
It's for selfish reasons.
Sentimental. It's saving money. It's something that I like to do. And Tommy's gotten better with it. Once I got better razors, better clippers. We did make a deal once. For him, he was going to play baseball, and for him to play baseball, I had to stop cutting his hair. So I stopped cutting his hair for a bunch of months when he played baseball.
Oh.
He got into it.
Nice.
Yeah. You knew that, right?
I didn't know you guys had that trade-off.
We had that trade-off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when he started practicing in the backyard every night.
It's honestly, it's fine. It's okay. But like when it comes to like picture day at school or like holidays or holiday cards and things where like I need him to look not like a hobo, so throughout the year you're fine to cut his hair.
Yeah.
But when it's like the important like photo worthy days, like class photos that will live forever.
Right.
Like I like an even,
which I do.
An even cut.
I give him an even cut.
It
looks good.
That is up for debate if that is actually define even. Even.
Even on both sides. I check on both sides. I use the clippers, the sides and the back. Then I get the scissors, cut it all, even it all out with the fingers.
Let's go back to your hair as a scope of reference. Okay, so you've got.
I need a haircut.
I feel like you speaking of such fine haircuts with your hair in such shambles.
So let's get a cut.
I feel like you can't.
Maybe I'll get a cut tomorrow, babe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll do that.
Why don't you do that?
Well, speaking of haircuts, we have friends Jesse and Randy who are about to join us. So let's hear what they've been going through.
Our most long-running argument has been cutting our son's hair. He's 4 years old. He has long, beautiful, golden locks of hair that come down past his shoulders. I loved it. I still love it. My husband does not. My husband Jesse does not like his hair long. He wants him to cut it short. But at this point, because he's 4, we've left it up to him. And he has decided he likes his hair long. But it's still a constant running argument between the two of us.
I see. They asked their son.
Well, she said they let it go for so long that then it became, and yeah, listen, we have a 4-year-old. I don't get to make the rules anymore. She tells me when she wants her hair cut or not haircut. She wants pigtails or no pigtails. Like 4-year-olds are no joke. Like they know exactly what they want. And so if he is now totally in on the long hair, yeah, you gotta respect it.
But there's the New York Yankees don't allow their players to have long hair.
Cool. Then he doesn't have to be a Yankee.
The military doesn't allow you to have long hair. So I think it's okay to set some sort of rule with your kid while they're under your house, in your house, what kind of haircut they should have.
Babe, people are going to go off on you. You can't tell people that their boys have to have short hair.
I'm not telling people their boys have to have short hair.
But you're saying at some point you have to set that condition for them that they have to have short hair.
I'm not saying anyone has to, but I know,
The Yankees and military. Okay, world. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Because the Yankees and the military cut their hair, that should be the case around.
I'm not saying that should be the case around the world.
What are you
However,
saying?
if a dad in a family thinks his son should maybe, I don't have any say in the daughter's hair, and I'm not asking for it. My son's hair, I'm asking for some say in my son's hair.
But what if Tommy said, "Dad, I only want to go to the salon and get my hair cut. I don't want you to do it anymore." He's almost 8.
They also, if they go to the grocery store, they want to get whatever they want to get, and they want to go to a theme park as often as possible. You have to say no to kids.
Yes, but maybe that's more of a financial thing, a choice whether or not to keep hair long is not a financial burden on anyone, right? So
right.
if he, as a 4-year-old, embraces the long hair and likes how he looks, I think it's detrimental to the child and their self-esteem to nurture whatever they feel, how they feel they look best.
Yeah. Let's call, you could drop your mic. It's
drop.
not like a final mic drop, but let's call up Jesse and Randy and see what's up.
Hi!
It's Lucy and Tommy. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys tonight?
Good. You got Jesse there?
I am.
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We love this topic. We feel very differently about it, surprisingly.
A little bit. Yeah.
I know it's an odd thought that Tom and I don't agree on something, but I love it. So give us a little backstory. So we got your recording, but I really feel compelled by the fact that now that he's 4, listen, I have a 4-year-old. I know that there is no way I'm getting to cut her hair or do whatever she doesn't want to do I mean, she is very, she knows what she likes. And I think if you have a kid that is like very committed and this is how he likes to look, I think you got to embrace that, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think Jesse's worry is that because I loved it so much, because, I mean, this has been going on since he was a baby. I didn't even want to cut his hair for the first time. When he was, 2 years old or something like that? I waited a long time.
Yeah, she cried hysterically while one of our best friends cut his hair, who's a hairdresser in our own living room. She cried hysterically when we cut his hair for the first time. So, I mean, there was a lot of emotion that day.
So I think Jesse's thing is that I loved it so much that I embedded in him that he likes long hair, and it's not his own decision. But I think it is his decision because he is 4 now, and if he really didn't want it,
right, without
he
the
would
risk
easily
of
say no.
Without the risk of sleeping on the couch tonight, I believe he is slightly brainwashed is the right word. I think brainwashed comes as a big word there. But there's a lot of backstory to this, though, that you guys don't know. So I had long hair my entire life until I was 22.
Really?
It was down to the middle of my back my entire life. So, there's a lot of, I have... what do you call it?
Trauma?
Trauma. There's the word. I have childhood trauma of being mistaken for a girl very often. And I, for due reason, I don't want my child to have the same trauma is a good word for it. Thank you.
But yet you kept it long up and through your 20s.
I did because I'm not a big creature of change by any means. I'm definitely a creature of habits. I'd actually took my boss at the time offering me a substantial raise, $2 an hour if I cut my hair.
Stop.
So I immediately went to his barber and said, chop it all off, because $2 an hour is a whole lot of money.
That is.
I was 22 at the time, or 21, yeah. So.
Yeah, I remember getting 50-cent raises.
Exactly, you're jumping up and down. So
yeah, $2. That is definitely an incentive.
You can pay your son if you allow him, he'll allow you to cut his hair. And that's
well. See
that's fair.
that I would have no problem with that, but you know,
But he's 4. He doesn't care about money.
Right.
Offer him gummies and maybe
Right. No, I
limited gummies if you cut your hair.
no, I think there is definitely that incentive when they see mommy so overjoyed by something. I mean, that's why my kids are White Sox fans, right? Because I overly coo and love and swoon over the White Sox as you do the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
So something that they see mommy and daddy really happy about when they embrace that topic or subject. So I think there is definitely a fair point.
Yep.
But I also have yeah. Go ahead.
I've talked to Luke about it before because I try to talk to him very point blankly, and you know we talked about the fact that he doesn't have to keep his hair that way, and even though mommy likes it, that doesn't mean he has to like it.
Right.
And at the end of the conversation, it's always like, "But I love my hair. I don't want to cut it." And I'm like, "All right, well then we won't cut your hair."
And this is why I cough brainwashed. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, that's a tough one.
I see what you're saying. I mean, I think listen, we have 3 kids. We have 2 daughters and 1 son. I have no say in the girls' hair. But I want to, and I do have say in my son's hair. And
He
I
thinks
think
he
there's
has say.
something
He
I
thinks
know I have say.
But you shouldn't. He's almost 8. He should have say in his hair.
Yeah, but I can have say in his hair as well. I can, you know.
Yeah.
So I see where Jesse's coming from on that. I mean, and the cool thing about this show is, you know, the audience is going to determine what your son's hairstyle is going to be. So this is lifted from you.
I love.
This is lifted from you guys don't even have to think about it anymore. You don't have to worry about it. The solution will be given to you, and all will be good, knowing the right choice was made by the world.
The solution is whether or not we have to respect his decision, or whether or not I just get to go grab a pair of scissors and let him cry for a couple of days while his hair's short, right? That's the decision, right?
Well, wait, remind me again, what's the hair length of your other son?
He's still, we've gotten 1 haircut right before pictures the other day, actually, and it was already very short. We just had it kind of cleaned up. So he's still, because he's only 2, it's still a very short, boyish haircut.
But I will also say is that they have very different personalities, and based on my younger son's personality, I don't think I'd let his hair go long, because he's not that type of kid.
Right.
I think that Luke, our older one, is free-spirited and
California
funny.
boy, yeah.
He's totally, like, he just loves everything. So I think his hairstyle fits him as well as he enjoys it.
Yeah.
Yes, he is a little hippie. I'll give him that. Sure, yes, he's in love with that one. I'll admit that one. He definitely loves everybody.
Oh, I'm torn on this one because I've definitely always kept my boys' hair short for sure. And what we were arguing about right before we called you guys is whether or not Tommy should cut his hair because he botches the job.
I love cutting my son's hair.
And he cries and he hates it, and then I go to the salon and they make him look very clean. I mean, like Tommy, after day 3, you start seeing things.
I
hair's
still give
flying.
him a pretty good. I give him a pretty good. I'm not giving myself an A, but I'm giving myself a solid B. He's getting B haircuts. You can get a B or a C if you go to a salon. Sometimes an A. It's really all
better than a Flowbee, is what you're saying.
Right.
It's better than a Flowbee.
It's better than the Flowbee. We're not getting the vacuum cleaner attachment out. Okay. All right.
Well, and
you put a bowl on his head and cut around it.
Yes, that was my childhood.
Mine as well.
Tommy,
do either of you have any experience with either a friend or a boy that had long hair growing up? Because, I mean, that's the question. Does anybody have any personal experience with that? Because I did, I feel like I can weigh in on that heavier than, say, my wife can, who never dealt with what comes with that.
I think that's very fair. And no, I haven't. And I honestly think that is a factor to weigh in. But has he come to you and said, I mean, do you guys have experiences of people mistaking him as a girl? And
every day.
All the time.
And how does he handle it?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care at all.
Not at all.
He doesn't even correct him. And when I say later, like, they called you a girl, did that hurt your feelings? He's like, no, it's okay. They just didn't know. Like, he's just like that about everything.
Him.
I know. I mean, he rips his pants. I'm like, oh, no, you ripped your pants. He's like, that's okay. A rip looks cool. Like, everything is just very positive. So that's how he handles when somebody says, like, there's all the time, like, oh, she's so cute. Does she want this? And he'll just be like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, he's definitely not me as a kid.
Did you notice they called you a girl? He's like, yeah, it's okay. I'm like, okay. So he doesn't seem to be bothered by it. Now, he's only 4, almost 5.
Yeah.
So maybe later in life. But if he ever is bothered by it, I feel like he has the complete freedom and choice to make that decision to cut his hair.
Yeah, I'm just worried that he's going to end up being like I was. I mean, I was probably 16,
but you
17.
Cut your hair?
Yeah, I was nervous about it. I'd had it for so long. It was just part of me that I was nervous about.
Yeah, then they win. All the people that talk smack, then like at some point you're just like, screw you, I'm going to keep it long just out of spite.
I could recall, I mean, not to go down too deep a rabbit hole, but I can recall in middle school being not only picked on, but actually I got in a fight where they were trying to cut my hair with scissors.
Oh,
geez.
And I mean, I didn't.
This is a trigger. Yeah.
There's some real stuff there that I was like, there's a lot that I just don't want him to go through. There was a lot of teasing and torture that was put on me that wasn't necessarily fun, that I don't want him to deal with or be nervous about or have to deal with.
Right.
And so, a little back and forth.
I feel like they haven't gotten to like the mean stage. I feel like that kind of trickles in a little later. But oh man, I'm torn.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of levels there.
Like I want to keep this tree hugging hippie baby like love bug exactly him, but at the same time,
Dad's trying to protect him. Dad's trying to.
Yeah, if I hadn't had
one could argue, absolutely. Yep.
I don't think I'd care. If I didn't have long hair growing up, we can blame my mother for that. I don't think I would. Hopefully she doesn't listen to this.
Don't worry, I'll tell her.
Love you, Mom. But I don't think I'd. Actually, it was my dad. I shouldn't even blame my mom. My father, even to this day, he's the one actually, every time he sees Luke, he just absolutely loves that his hair's long. And he always says, I wish you kept your hair long. I wish you'd always kept your... That's him. My
Grandpa's a hippie musician.
Grandpa's a hippie musician. He definitely likes the long hair.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I will say that I am completely fine with him cutting his hair at this point. I wouldn't stop it if that's what he wants. It would make me very sad because I do like his hair, but I am totally okay with it because I feel like I've handed over the reins to him. Well, apparently now your audience.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think gosh,
it's a very interesting one.
I don't know what side I'm on. I'm really torn because I feel like you both have very thoughtful, like you're both coming from a very genuine place of like care and love and respect for your kid, right? Which is
we want him to be the best him, and
yeah, and I don't think even at this point, I would never force him to at this point. I think I would just, if given the free range, I'd probably nudge at him more often until maybe he broke. Right. But I don't think there's a point there where I'd just be like, all right, I'm cutting your hair, your head's going to be shaved, we're going to military school type of. Right. That's not happening. Well, that's not on the cards. There's no way that's going down.
That was Tom right before we called you. He's like, well, the Yankees have to have short hair. Well, the military, I said, okay, so we're basing the whole entire universal culture on military and Yankees.
And baseball.
Baseball,
my point was that it's okay that those, the military, the Yankees do that. Each family, if they so wanted to have a rule like that, they can have a rule like that. But that's up to that family.
But if our son Tommy at 8 years old is like, "Hey, Dad, I want to grow out my hair," I mean, he's 8. You gotta let him have that right. And I know because I have a 4-year-old, they are just as strong-willed and opinionated. And if he's really into that, I mean, I can't cross my 4-year-old if she's firm on a topic. There's no...
Yeah, it's a tricky thing with a 4-year-old. Because you do have to... For most things that a 4-year-old wants, you do have to push back, right? This is a very interesting one. But most things you do have to push back. Because our daughter eats complete crap all day long. And unless we push back, and then she... Still eats crap. So it's a tricky one. But
basically, we've created a monster.
Yes.
Oh, we know how that is.
Yeah, they're all that way. you didn't create them; they're all that way.
That's a good. Well, and I feel like putting it on Life of Dad, you're probably going to get a lot of dads that are going to be like, "Cut the hair." But I think, I think hearing both of your sides and kind of hearing a little bit about his spirit, I don't know.
Well, and also, Jesse started saying earlier, we have to be careful about the question that we ask. What do you guys think the question is that we would ask people for their opinion on? Because it's not as simple as should they cut their son's hair, right? It's
or should we nudge him to cut his hair in basically fear that he'll have a complex about being called a girl?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, should we nudge him that way, and or go back to what Randy said earlier? Perhaps given the option to maybe bribe him with gummies to cut his hair.
Right.
Something that would make him.
That's not happening.
Something that would make him go into it willingly.
Right.
Or do we just let him be him?
He's ready.
Yeah.
Well, I figure at some point if he wants to cut his hair, he'll come, and because I ask him probably weekly if he'd like to cut his hair.
Sure.
Because, the kid is dirty and disgusting, and his hair is constantly in his face, and there's food in it. Like, it's not an ideal situation.
I have one of those, too.
Absolutely. So I say, there's food in your hair. Do you want to cut your hair? And he'll be like, no, I really like my long hair.
And I will say, in all fairness, she's probably right, because as she said, both of my parents, we had a very hippie-ish type of childhood, and my brother, who's a year younger than me, we both had mullets, we both had longer hair. He cut his very early when given the opportunity, and I did stick it out and had long hair through high school, and he did not. And so there's, yes, I would say given his choice, there's a choice to be made. I just didn't know if I ever made the right one.
So I guess the question would be either to let him come to it on his own, or to nudge him in a direction of cutting his hair in just so that he doesn't get, I don't know,
picked on, bullied.
Yeah, fear of yeah. That's a good
one. The world and fear of the world.
Damn world.
Which I also feel is the wrong way, because we shouldn't be fear of the world. We should be ourselves.
Right.
Okay.
We should actually all take a chapter out of Luke's book and actually be...
Yeah, I feel like I'm losing right now.
Yeah.
I'm really losing right now. And I know, like you said, it's on Life of Dad, but I'm going to lose this one.
I feel like the world just in general is losing, and we just all need to kind of embrace... I want to hang out with this kid.
Yeah.
He sounds amazing and has like the most amazing outlook. Happy. Yeah. I don't want to mess any aspect of that up.
I'm glad they said that. I'm glad you said the hair is messy and food in it, because when I first pictured it, he had perfect, long flowing hair. But he's good.
It's beautiful and blonde, but it's dirty.
Yeah, but the 10 minutes after he gets out of the bath, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's just everything after that.
And he doesn't. He's not bothered when you brush it.
No, he used to be, and good old Amazon. I jumped on Amazon and found this really cool hairbrush that's it gets rid of the knots without being overly abrasive, and now he actually is learning to brush his own hair.
Yeah,
and it's very cool to watch that he's able to do that and get the knots out, and kind of come into his own that way too.
Right.
Yeah, and when he was having problems with the brushing, I used to say, like, you don't like this, do you want to cut your hair? And he'd still say no.
Yeah, and I'd get overly aggressive with the brushing to try to force him to want it, and it backfired.
Yeah. Well, no, our daughter was the same way. I literally cut out dreadlocks at certain points because she wouldn't let me touch it, and then it was super long, and it would go up in like a bun, and then it would just it was so naughty. But she hated when it was such a fight that I'm like, okay, we're getting it short, and she's had a bob ever since, but only because the fight is just, even just to get her to brush the bob is a challenge.
Right.
So it was like, honey, let's keep it short because that's less hair to maintain.
But it should be noted, we did kind of, I don't want to say force, but we pushed her to cut her hair short for that reason.
Well, because it triggered significantly traumatic behavior that I think was worse long-term, detrimentally.
Right. Yeah.
They both were not great options, but ultimately, and now I can't see her anything but with her cute little bob.
Looks great.
But
well, and that's how we see Luke now too. He's got this beautiful. He literally looks like a kid has like an old Powell skateboard.
I know. I love it. And you guys at least were in Southern California where that look is so embraced, right?
And yes, exactly.
You don't get that kind of like acceptance in you know, I don't want to offend other parts of the world.
The Bible Belt specifically might not love the long hair as much as
I feel like the
Southern
California dude look is a very like into look. I feel like out here, it's definitely not the, you know, he's definitely not the only long-haired boy that I know that's just kind of rocking a. But yet, ironically, in Chicago,
every boy with long hair is rocking a man bun here in California. We haven't done that yet. We skipped away from the man bun, but they all do.
I will tell you this: in Chicago, where I grew up, and I have like hundreds of nieces and nephews, no boy. There's not a boy with long hair. But I think it's that kind of more of a stereotype.
This is what standard.
Right. This is what boys look like. This. So I think it becomes a bigger and bigger and bigger in topic. But I love how you guys are both. Both of your goal is to raise a happy kid that loves himself, right? But with two very different, very fair.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about this topic, and we should. Lucy and I are always very clear to take a side, but this one I think we're not, almost because there's a kid involved, right? No, because we're not. No one's to tell you how to raise your kid.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We're happy to tell you guys if it was something about Randy. If I thought Randy was wrong about something, or Jesse was wrong about something, you know, the dishes, you know, we would tell you. But this one, we don't want to tell you what to.
We all know cargo shorts are good. And you know, kids are maybe not
Jesse,
so black and white.
Jesse, he's wearing them now. The ones without buttons.
As am I on.
So is my husband.
We're on date night, and you know I am wearing cargo shorts on our date night this evening.
No,
so that is okay.
Gosh.
We're gonna do another show in December. You guys want to come?
In his defense, date night for us was going to see Zombieland.
Yes.
He's allowed to wear.
Well, that's a Zombieland apparel. I feel like that's a fair apparel.
It is.
But if the question was should Jesse cut his hair, then I feel like we'd be all in on our opinions.
Right.
No, you're right. Like it's
you got to be careful.
We're definitely not parent experts and don't claim to be in any capacity.
We're not experts at anything.
But we can point out we aren't experts at anything.
Yeah.
You're right. But we can point out that both of you are actually coming from a really genuine and loving place, and I think that's pretty awesome. So regardless,
also why it's so hard to decide.
I know it is. I don't know what I do. I really don't.
I know. That's why we never like argue about it, but it's always in the back of like the argument for us. Like, well, you won't let him cut his hair.
It is. Right. It is the little jab that comes at the end. Yes,
it's the lurking. It's the lurking. I know those arguments. Yeah, that's tricky though. You know what I'm going to say? Here's what I'm going to say. Regardless of how it ends up, he's going to end up being an amazing kid because he's got two parents that literally are so thoughtful enough to kind of continue to play this out for the long-term well-being of their kid. So I imagine you do this in every capacity of parenting, and that just means
we should do. Thank you.
He's going to be one awesome kid. Moral of the story.
I hope. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Either way,
I hope he is. He's got a very positive attitude, and he's got way more personality than I ever did as a child. So he should be okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then he's got a pretty amazing big personality because Randy, I adore your personality so much. And we need another girls' night, like stat.
Oh, anytime. Always. We always need a girls' night.
Always. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. This was really a fun episode.
If he ever needs a haircut, you know I can help cut it.
You know what? If he ever gets a haircut, we will film it live on Life.
Oh, that is going to happen.
Film it live. Do not let Tommy cut it. It will
Happy to help.
It will traumatize him for life. Do not attempt to let Tommy cut his hair. Get a trained professional.
If we don't cut it, I'll send you a video of him telling you how much he loves his long golden locks.
Oh my God! Please send me that. Like I have to see. What a doll! I love him. Well, I love you guys. Thanks so much for coming on.
Have fun at dinner.
We love you guys.
Okay.
No problem. Thanks,
have a good night.
Talk to you later. Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm waving Like they can
Wave.
see me. I'm waving goodbye.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Randy. We're waving at you guys.
Ah, that's a good one. Like that kid sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, cool kid.
Really
cool kid.
positive.
He's got the right parents. He's in the right state. It's all good.
He's what I pay like hundreds of dollars in therapy and medication to be like. So
Oh,
yeah. We're gonna go
going deep. Yeah,
yeah, but like no, the way his outcome is always finding the good. I think.
yeah.
God, you wanna put them in bubble wrap and don't let the world ever affect them in any negative way, because those little darling spirits and souls, I love it. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll put a vote up as we always do on our Instagram page. It's at Mom vs. Dad Show on Instagram. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Oh, you waved too.
Bye.
Oh no, we can wave at
waving.
this one. Okay.
Yeah, you wave at that
We're
one.
waving goodbye for the audio people.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.